Hey all, welcome to Vology's Wireside Chats. I'm your host, Neal Terracciano. I am at Vology's annual Tech Summit event in Tampa, Florida. I have here with me today HP's Chief Creatologist, Joe Batista. Joe, thank you very much for coming. So if you could just help us out a little bit on understanding how you got the title Chief Creatologist, and are there any other little creatologists running around at HP that make you the chief?
Yeah, that's great. By the way, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Actually, it was in 1996. Our VP at the time, I was on his staff, and I would come up with these ideas, out-of-the-box ideas. And being a very jovial Italian kind of guy, he goes, hey, we're going to call you the Creatologist. And lo and behold, that whole brand is kind of stuck. And it's all within the spirit of Bill and Dave. The way we're called Hewlett-Packard is they flipped a coin, and you know, we decided to name it Hewlett rather than Packard. If we flipped it the other way, it could have been Packard rather than Hewlett. But you know, two guys in a garage, they started their business back in 1939, and that whole mantra, that brand of HP Invent, and I'm just really a manifestation of the HP Invent brand. So my job basically is very easy. I work directly with customers to help them understand how to leverage IT technology for innovation. How can we use technology to change the game?
So you've got probably, I would say, one of the most stimulating or interesting roles at HP. Do you have any other creatologists that would make you the chief?
So HP operates in 170 countries, right? We're the largest IT organization in the world. We spend the same amount in R&D that American Outfitters does in sales. American Outfitters is a Fortune 651 company. We spend over $3.7 billion in R&D. We've been in the top 20s in patent portfolios. And really, it's really not about Joe Batista's creatology. There is a world of what I call assets inside the company, smart people, and the question becomes, is how do you create this concept called alignment of interest and align those assets to the business outcome that the customer wants to create to change the game.
One of the things that all of the audience would be very interested in getting to know is what kinds of projects a creatologist would be involved in. What do you specifically contribute to HP?
That's a great question. So really it starts with the business conversation. It really has nothing to do with technology. And the focal point, Neal, is use cases. Can we figure out the use case? So if I am a data-driven organization, like a LexisNexis or an IRR, and I have data, how can I create an adjunct revenue stream from my data? Or if I'm a consumer product packaging company and I have a huge e-commerce presence, how can I create more customer intimacy using my multi-channel capabilities, either through a high touch point, through my channel, through social media, through click streams on the website? How can I now migrate my agenda to a digital enterprise? What's that really look like? So there's these fundamental business questions and use cases, and from that acts as the thesis by which we now can understand. It says, okay, now what assets do we have inside HP that can unleash on that? So let me give you an example. Okay, a large government institution who is concerned about food safety in this country. Okay, and if you remember, in 2009 we had the peanut butter recall. So the big question becomes, do I recall peanut butter? Here's the business context. Do I recall peanut butter across the whole country because the supply chain has been compromised, but we don't know where it's been compromised? So that decision, if I do a national recall, would be $1 billion impact, which it was in 2009. So that's the business context, that's the business question, that's the use case. Can I use technology to solve that problem? And the way we went about this is what I call a data literacy challenge. I hate to use the word big data because I don't even know what that means. But it's a data literacy challenge. Can I take a data source like tweets and mine the tweets to say, what were you eating 2 weeks prior? Where were you? Did you feel sick? And lo and behold, if you mine the tweets, you get some really interesting insights about where you should be doing that product recall. From that exercise, we created a product called the Pulse, which you can go up on Google and check it out, which is the ability to ingest in real time tweets and do some analytical inferencing around it. Very, very cool project, yes.
These ideas don't just stay in the ether space as you know, hey, we're vision casters, but we don't really execute on the ideas. We start by focusing on the peanut butter problem, right?
Correct.
And then we're able to expound from there. I find that incredibly interesting. Any other projects?
Yeah, so another really cool one, I remember the whole conversation back in Charlotte, North Carolina with NASCAR. So the question becomes, how can I use technology to re-engage the fan at the track, at home, following a brand like a particular driver? Now, one of the interesting ones was when you're at the track, we created some technology called the wall, which is at the track, and what happens is we're listening to the tweets that the fans are doing, we're listening to the broadcast, which is another data source, TV broadcast like an ESPN, and we're coordinating all those inputs, and based upon what's happening at the track and the what I call the clatter that's coming from broadcast TV, that's coming from tweets, we're now presenting on the track through what they call the wall, a whole different experience. So it could be that we just had a crash, and then now there's a tweet, the tire flew off, it got some people injured, the NASCAR brand is responding, everybody's okay, here's an update, da-da-da-da. So it's really cool once you understand the business question and the use case, and then you can begin to figure out what the technology execution is.
What, from my perspective, is viewed as chaos. Somehow we're creating order, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing to create almost a level of intelligence that can extract something meaningful that otherwise appears to be meaningless. When I say meaningful, can produce value, either to NASCAR or to the consumer or to both.
Well, I'd like to give you one more example. This is my my coolest example.
Please.
My coolest example is there's this technology, and we showed it today. Remember that, Neal?
Yes.
Customers were just like floored that actually had this technology.
Is this make animating objects?
Exactly.
Right?
It's the Erasmus. It's the Erasmus technology. So Erasmus technology is an inside HP's portfolio, and basically what it is you take the most common consumer appliance on the planet, a cell phone, right? And it's an image recognition system, so I recognize the image, and then what I do as an IT group is I create an experience around that image, so when a user puts their cell phone, snaps a picture, that image goes off to a database, it collects an experience, and it presents the experience. So let me give you a really cool project that we're working on is consumer packaging. So you're a company that manufactures a cleaning product for the healthcare community. And the way this product is administered is you need to follow those instructions to the T, which by the way are printed on the bottle and very small. So if you need glasses, you need to put on your glasses. And it's very detailed. And you need to do that so it doesn't compromise the performance of your product. This company gets 40% of their profits from this consumable product. So what if we could take the cell phone and point it at the product, and since it looks like with a thin neck and it's got a wide body in the bottom, we know it's this particular cleaning product, and then we point it to it, and then what will happen is it will play a video of how you administer and clean a surface at a dental office. Or think about an NBA ticket, or think about a GQ magazine. It's this whole concept that if you're in the consumer circles, it's called info-lust. Consumers want more meta meaning about something physical. Now with the Rasma, I can recognize the image and then I can push down a different experience. You can download the app on an Android or iOS phone, and then you can go up to the website, Rasma website, and you can download the Rasma Studio. You take a picture of the object, and then you build an experience around it, and then once anybody points their Rasma smartphone to it, they get a whole different experience.
This is like total recall here. So I'm able to actually point my camera on my smartphone to a object that it knows exists, right? So it has to be able to recognize the object.
Correct.
From any angle, is it picky? I mean, is it?
Yeah, sometimes it's picky. Yeah, sometimes it's picky.
But if I pointed at this dollar bill, there's something's going to occur. It's going to recognize the dollar bill, and then it's going to create content for me.
Exactly.
And this is very interesting. This is very exciting. So first of all, let's tell the audience how to spell it so they can download this.
Oh, that's a great question. So let me look. It's A-U. Hold on. A-U-R-A-S-M-A.
Okay, and it's free?
It's free.
Okay.
So the app that recognizes it is free. And then the second piece of the puzzle is the Erasmus Studio, which you go to the erasmus.com site and you can download the studio.
Is it a developer kit or something?
Yeah, it's like a developer kit. Yeah. Trust me, you don't have to be a techie.
Okay, folks, you heard it. Download the app Erasmus and check it out. This is, I think, one of the many, many innovations that HP is a part of. And I think thanks to the genius of the Chief Creatologist over at HP. Sorry, I know you're a modest guy, sure, but I absolutely appreciate it. It's been very, very interesting for us. Folks at Wireside, this is the kind of stuff that we just gobble up. We're all geeks at heart, and if you're watching this, you're one too. So I appreciate you putting the time aside. Until then, I'll see you on the Wireside.